Okay, so we're back. I got the power disconnected from the motherboard. I just wanted to kind of make a note on that because it was a little bit difficult, and I, haven't seen any videos on that, so I wanted to talk about it. Getting this 24 pin out, it was really, firm in there. I actually had to take this RAM module out in order to get grip on both sides and to squeeze the latch and get it out. So there was almost a little bit of board flex there, so I kind of had to push down on the plastic shielding here as I'm trying to pull it out. So I guess be cautious about that when you're disconnecting from your power from your motherboard. So let's go over this case here. This is the Corsair C70 Vengeance. Like I said, most commonly you see it as green and looks like ammo box. It's got a little jet fighter hazard switch here for the reset. Power, USB 2s on the front, some front end audio. Okay, has a dust shield here on front. The case here can fit two 120 millimeter fans. Kip, that was just me. Sorry, buddy. Like I said, neighborhood watchdog right there. So if we go on the back here, we're going to put the power supply down on the bottom. It's got one case fan in the back. It's got the punch outs for advanced water cooling if we wanted to. And then we have the, there's also a latch here on the back. So these just flip up, a little firm, alright. This pops out and voila, it's off, just like that. So we'll set this down here on the floor. Okay, so in the back here, we can see we've got the front end connectors going down. It's got some little clasps here for cable management. And while we're still here, let me kind of flip the bottom of this up a little bit. So we have some dust fans on the bottom that can slide out for cleaning. So, and I like that it sits a little bit off the floor. I will probably get still an additional riser for it. Just because I do live in the desert here, it is really dusty. And also my dog sheds, so I want to keep it off the floor so to not get the hair in there. So let's take a look inside this thing, huh? This side panel comes off the same. Oh, and it's got the carrying handles at the top, and it does fit has the radiator stuff up here. Vents for the radiator. Okay, so let's put this back here. Okay. So, we have some removable drive bays here, and the whole drive bay itself is removable. Looks like we got a little box here with some stuff. Here's the other end of the connectors for the front end panel, so we'll see with the fan one. So maybe we'll end up using this little connector switch that came with the motherboard. We'll see how tough that looks like it's going to be when we get there. Alright, so what do we have in here? More cable management ties. Okay. Lots of screws, different kinds of screws. So this thing came with a little pamphlet, but there wasn't really instructions on anything. It's just, this is what it contains. So I did look that we have some long fan screws. We have some short screws with small threads and some short screws with even smaller threads, and these rubber grommets are fan for the anti-vibration for the fan. And then here, looks like we have a USB adapter. The front end panels have USB 3.0. USB 2.0 uses a different connector. For some reason we wanted to plug those front panels into USB 2.0, we would use this adapter, but we are not going to be doing that since this motherboard does have a 3.0 connector on it. Okay, so power supply is first. Let's go ahead and get that in here. Move this out of the way. So maybe this will give me some insight as I get it here. Okay, so that's where it's going to go. Oh, the screws are on the back part here. Got it. So let me flip this around here. So, as I said, most of the time you see the professionals building on YouTube, when they put something in, they just and fast forward through the screwing. We'll do that too, but they don't really talk about, hey, this is where it goes, some tips on lining it up. But, okay, so it looks like one on the top, 2 on the right and 1 on the left. So let's find that little bag of screws right here from the case, and we will go ahead and get this power supply screwed in. Okay, power supply is in. The next is going to be the motherboard. This case has built-in standoffs here. Let's try to move this fan cable out of the way. So I need to figure out what screws are for that. And I know the long ones are fan screws, so it's got to be one of these shorter ones. If I kind of get a close look in there, it doesn't look like the threads are big, so going to be one of these two. So let's try it out. Which screw is which? Why don't they just make them all the same? So let's go ahead and get that motherboard. We'll put this case down on its side. Okay, we're back. We're about to get the motherboard inside this case here. And one of the things that I just watched, Linus did a new video on common PC traps. One of them is making sure that you install the input-output shield before the motherboard, because you don't have to take the motherboard back out to get it in. So let's see which way this is going to go. Looks like it goes this way, and with the motherboard it goes this way. So how does this, I think it just snaps in. Let's try it. Right?
I think it's backwards.
Think it's backwards?
I think it's
It's got all the labels on the outside here.
no, you might be right. No, you're right. You're right. Ignore me.
Nah, I won't ignore you.
I have an old case where the silver side goes outside, so that's what I'm used to.
Oh, this is supposed to look good for gaming. Okay, how does this go in? Snap, 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 something maybe? Let's take a look at this here. Okay, so it looks like it's just got a bunch of little bump ups there, and it's actually like foam padded, which is interesting. It's not just a flat piece of metal here. It's actually got foam padding behind this. So maybe I'm just not being firm enough with it. Let's try it. Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, so got to be a little firm. Apparently it will connect in place before it breaks. Alright. That's in. Great. Let's get this motherboard in place. Let me move this fan cable out of the way though. It's just a little... Oh, yeah. Alright, there it is. How am I lining up? Alright, so motherboard needs to go more towards the... Did I get that? Yeah, okay. Alright, so it looks like with that foam padding from the input-output shield, it's making it a little tough to push this as far over as I need. So here's what I think I'll do. So this motherboard uses 9 screws, 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, 3 across the bottom, except this particular case, the one in the very center is just a post. I don't actually have to put a screw into it. So what I'm going to do, since I got to get that matched up there, is I'm going to put a screw in this bottom corner here, and just so I can use that as a pivot point to get the top into place. So let's try that. That is not something I've seen on any YouTube videos about getting it motherboard in place with a padded input-output shield. So I'll leave that a little loose. Now let's see if this will push over far enough. And it's not. Okay, all of the, oops, I kicked the camera, sorry. Alright, the ports are lined up, but, okay, looks like maybe I need to lift it a tad. Did it get it? Yay! Okay, so I had to lift it to make sure that, let's see if I can get a focus here on this. So I had to lift it to make sure that all of those things lined up exactly and got on top of the padding that was keeping it out. Okay. Alright. So I will go ahead and get this screwed in here.
Don't you dare hit that board.
I know, $300 later. Okay, motherboard is clicked in. Now I think we got to get all the cables attached, and then once we get the cables attached, we get to the all-in-one water cooler. And I'm doing the cables first because I just watched a video last night by Bitwit, who mentioned that if you put in the water cooler, you could block your path to some of these power connectors up here, like this power connector and some of these other connectors. So get the cables and fans run first, then do your all-in-one. So we'll go ahead and stand this case back up so that I can access both the front and the back. Okay, so we're back. We took a little break and I got all the cables connected. I kind of wanted to record it, but it's a good thing we didn't because that was definitely a lot of learning lessons. But I'll go over exactly what we did. So 24-pin power connector out the bottom, up the top right in there. 8-pin power connector out the bottom, comes up here. You know, they were kind of firm to put back in, so I had to hold the other side of the case to make sure we got that. The front end connectors, there was a little piece included with the motherboard that allowed me to connect all these to that, and then only had to plug the one into the motherboard. I think that made it a little easier. I was able to connect them all, you know, while working out in this space, and then just do the one connection instead of 5 different ones on the little pins. Chassis fan, so fans. Fans was a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, and that's because I had to account for the fans that are on the radiator too. So this motherboard comes with an all-in-one pump header, and down here somewhere there's another water pump header. Both those run at full speed at the same time, so I wanted to plug my all-in-one into the all-in-one pump. And then we have chassis fan 1, chassis fan 2, chassis fan 3, CPU fan, CPU optional, and high amp. Apparently, according to the manual, the high amp puts out 3 amps, and so I didn't know if it was safe to plug in these regular fans or my Swiftech fans into that one. Fortunately, my Swiftech all-in-one water cooler came with a fan splitter, so I'm going to be using that for the 2 fans there. And so just, I mean, when it came to fans and it came to this all-in-one, I ran into a lot of unexpected things I wasn't prepared for. I had to kind of plan out. So we'll get to, so I have the back case fan into chassis fan 1, and then the 2 front case fans into chassis fan 2 and chassis fan 3. So now, if you would have noticed earlier, there were some hard drive enclosures here. I did take those out. I have them right here. And the reason I took them out is the fan was attached right here to this side, and you can see how restrictive this would be to airflow purposes. So they were up here, and I could just imagine those fans would just end up circulating the air that's in here and inside the case rather than actually drawing fresh air from outside the case. Also, originally, like I said, I had planned on an M.2 hard drive. I ended up going with the SATA for now. So I was going to leave the bottom one in and just have the top one out. And it turns out that both of those hard drive enclosures sit on top of this bracket down here in the bottom. And this bracket is like the width of the screws too tall to be able to put the fans in with this in or with one hard drive enclosure in. So I had to take 2 out. Now this might be something people give me some crap for, but it's alright. I'll get an adapter. I have the SSD right up here, and it's just going to kind of sit there for the moment. It'll be fine. It's an SSD, but I will get an adapter to get that connected up there. We got the USB front end plugged in. We've got the one SATA goes around and then comes back up here, plugs in there. And I think that's about it, right? So the power for the SATA is out the bottom and then up into the top, and it turns out that the all-in-one pump actually has a SATA connector. I'm assuming it's for power, and so that will also take one of these connectors on here. So that's right where it needs to be for the pump that should be up here. So, oh, the RGB strip. So so here's the RGB strip, and I ran it across the bottom and up the side. This other end of it here is for an extender, but the motherboard manual says that each of these headers can accommodate a 24-inch strip, and this is one 24-inch strip, so we won't be connecting anything else to it. But if I just kind of lay it in there, it'll keep it up right there, and got it plugged down there into the header. So we'll take a look at the back and see how my cable management job went. Here. Okay, so this largest one is the 24-pin power. That was kind of a pain to get twisted and melded where I needed to go. This one should be fine across here. Still have room here for the mounting bracket for the all-in-one. The USB 3.0 headers for the front of the case are flat cables. It kind of went around there, so we'll see whether that has enough space to close. I'm pretty sure we'll be good. This one will just kind of, the rest should just squish here in place. So we'll go ahead and get the all-in-one water cooler going, and let me show you guys that before we get started here. So, okay, here we go. This is the Swiftech H220. I actually took this out of the box last night and then was not able to get it back in the box, so that's why it's already out here. It came with some mounting brackets for AMD. It came with mounting brackets for Socket 2011. Also, it has extra plates, white, green, and red, that go right here because this is lighted. I have the blue plate in there, and that's what I'm going to end up keeping for now. Depending on what I end up doing with my LEDs, this seems fairly simple to change out to put the white one so that it doesn't clash as much with the rest of the colors, but for now I'm going to go ahead and keep the blue. Okay, it did come with some thermal paste, but I am going to be using the IC Diamond. Now, when I started taking a look at all these on here, I was like, what the heck? I have no idea what to do. So that's why we got the SATA. I was like, originally I saw the plug and I was like, okay, that's to control the pump. And then I saw the SATA and I'm like, I have no idea why there is a SATA thing plugged into an all-in-one water cooler. So learn something new every day, that it's using a SATA for power. It has this 4 PWM plug will go into the motherboard there, and then the SATA will go to power, and I see that this is also going into the power, probably for the light that's in here. And then we have 2 PWM fans up here. These will do for now until I get my hands on some Noctua NFF12s. I almost ordered them, and then when I went to Noctua's website, I found out that not only do they have the standard 1500 RPM case fans, but apparently they have industrial fans. They're the exact same size, but they have ones that can go up to 2,000 and ones that go up to 3,000 RPMs, albeit that they're louder, but hopefully somebody will do some kind of comparison video on the industrial versus the non-industrial Noctua NFF12s. That would be really great to see. Otherwise I'll probably just end up going with the regular case ones, even though the industrial ones will put through a lot more airflow according to their charts on the Noctua website. It's also like double the loudness, like 48 decibels. I don't know exactly how loud that is, but the non-industrial ones are only like 22 or 23 decibels, so double the loudness. I don't know if I want that. I don't even know how loud these are going to be. So we're going to get this into the top of the case and hopefully get this going here real quick. Let's go ahead and start that. Okay, so getting this all-in-one installed. I had to do some strategizing with Luke here on how to get this going, because the mounting bracket that goes on the back, so every video I've seen, when they apply the thermal paste, they're usually like looking down at, you know, some tower that's laying flat, and if I had it laying flat, I wouldn't be able to hold the bracket in place. So Luke's going to help me get this up and get the cooler heatsink on the processor, and then I'll work on the fan management after that. So all I've done so far is get the bracket off of the end of this. So let's go ahead and get this mounted up here. I got my screws, screwdriver, and do you wanna hold while I screw, or vice versa?
Vice versa. Get over here.
Okay. There. All right. should be able to hold it up that way there.
Yep.
No. Whoa. All right, so
the screws.
Okay, let me get those screws out.
That's why you need the rounded screws.
No, the rounded screws were thinner threaded screws that don't. You're gonna have to pull it out so I can get those out.
Yeah, those did not hold at all.
Well, there's a learning lesson. So the screws designed to hold went right through the holes. Alright, so what do we do about that?
Jump cut!
Okay, minor slip up there, close call, lesson learned. So these are the two different screws. These ones here came with the Swiftech H220. These ones here that are wider came with the case. We were using the ones that came with the Swiftech, and they were too small, which is why the radiator fell when we only had 2 screws in. However, we did get it mounted now. We are using the screws that came with the Corsair case, so they have a wide enough top that it is securely mounted, and we did not break anything in the process. That would have been not so good, but hilarious, but not so good. So, we're going to go ahead and get the block cooler mounted now. Okay. And Luke is going to hold the bracket in the back. Got to remember to peel this off here. Look at that nice peel off. Ooh, look how shiny that is. That's shiny. I like shiny stuff. Okay, and then we'll figure out how to get this mounted. I think it's supposed to mount this way. So, okay. I need to adjust here. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so when I got the IC Diamond thermal paste here, I have watched lots of videos on line method versus dot method, and apparently there's no difference as far as your temperatures afterward. So I will go ahead and use the dot method because that's what it shows in the pictures in these not so detailed instructions from Swiftech. It does say in there though, or show dot method somewhere in there anyway. Okay, so it's supposed to be about the size of a pea or something. We'll see what happens. I wonder if I have to poke a hole in this or anything. No, it's coming. It's coming, all right. So we'll take a little pressure there. I'm worried about it squirting out. Does that look about right?
I've never done this before, man.
Well, neither have I. Oh, it's sticky. Hope I don't get air bubbles right there where that happened.
Careful. Don't let it in. There you go.
Okay. That looks about proportional to what I've seen in the videos. I have no idea.
We'll find out.
Okay. Stick that back on there. Alright, Luke, I'm going to go and peel this part off here. Perfect. Okay. It gets mounted this way. So this fan cable here is going to end up plugging in up there. So I'll go ahead and leave it wrapped partially around. Okay. Did I did I tighten these too much? I think I did. Well, no. Okay, there's still space between except for that one. Let me back that one off a little. So these don't need to be wrenched down from what I've seen in all the videos.
Yeah, you don't over tighten those.
So there is now just a little bit of space. Between the levels of the spring. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully that thermal paste didn't leak out. I can't see around it enough to tell. Yeah, there's too much space. I can't tell whether that was enough or not. We're just gonna go with, all right. I think that was looked right, proportional to what I've seen in the videos as far as the amount of thermal paste. And so that's good. All right, so we're gonna get the fan connectors for this connected. And this is once again where I had to kind of do a lot of pre-planning on fans, a lot more time invested than what I expected. Fill that off there. Yeah. All right, and this does come pre-filled, so I don't have to fill it, which is good. Get a little more light on here, huh? I should have done that before. All right. So like I said, this...
Take off the plastic for everything else.
Take off the plastic. All right, what do we get? We got plastic down here on this. If I can get it off, I see it. There's a bubble there. And there's plastic on this. Maybe this one will come off easier. Oh yeah, that's not so easy. Got it. All right. Nice shiny Republic of Gamers logo there. And let's see if we can get this out. Got it. The ROGI. Bam! Doesn't that look, ooh, so reflective?
It is very nice.
That is very nice indeed. All right. Okay, so this is for the light that goes to over the processor. So I'm going to plug this into the CPU opt slot, which I'm assuming stands for optional. And man, I don't like plugging these things in here. I'm afraid I'm gonna like bend a pin or something. Okay. So there we go. These two, which I need to kind of run up here. I'm going to be plugging into the fan splitter. So let's take off channel 1, let's take off channel 2. Plug in channel 1, plug in channel 2. Okay, and this fan splitter also has a SATA connector for power, which I was not expecting. So this SATA for power and this SATA for power, I'm going to plug into the same other slots. Ooh, it's not that far. Right here that I have the hard drive. I have in here for the hard drive. Okay, so that goes that way, and this goes this way, this way. Make sure we get it in the right orientation. Bam! We'll shove that up into the drive bay so it's out of the way. We'll shove the whole splitter up into the drive bay so it's out of the way. There next to the hard drive, okay. And now, this is the one for the splitter. And I am going to plug it here into CPU fan. So what's the best routing for this? We'll go around the back here. We'll go over the top. And it goes this way. Okay, and then I'll try to tuck that back there so it doesn't look so bad. And this last one here is the all-in-one pump, which needs to go way over here to the other side. Shit.
Is it too short?
It is too short. It's too short to reach from way over here to over here. Okay, so I will end up going with the instructions because the initial instructions say to go ahead and plug that into channel 1 of the splitter. So I really wanted to plug it in there, but wait a minute. There's supposed to be one down here. Is it too far to reach? That's extension fan. Oh, that's the other water pump fan is way down there on the bottom. It's also too short to reach there. Okay, so we'll go with the instructions from Swiftech, and we will plug it into the splitter until I find out whether there's a such thing as extension cables for these, because I know the difference is that the all-in-one pumps are supposed to run at 100% all the time, whereas the rest of them with the PWM can be, you know, varying speeds. With this plugged into here, it will now, the water pump here will now not just run at 100% all the time, but it will ramp up when the fans ramp up. I have no idea whether that's going to make an actual difference when it comes to my cooling temperatures or whatnot. Like when the fans are spinning low but the pump is at full speed, if I were to plug it in there, is that really going to make a difference versus the setup now where the water flow increases as the fan speeds for the radiator increase? I will have to check it out and see, but I think we're good. I think we're ready to plug it in and boot and that kind of stuff. So let's take a cut while I get that set up. Okay, so our PC's all done. I've got it all connected, pulled out my keyboard. I wanted to show this nice little foam holder this keyboard's got, totally awesome. So, moment of truth. Everything should boot up now, and let's flip the power on the back here. Push the power on the front. I hear the water running. I see numbers going back there.
I'm dreading leaks.
Yeah, I'm watching. I don't see any though. We're okay. Still flipping a bunch of numbers back there. Oh, delete. Go to the BIOS. Okay. All right. Processor at 4.5 megahertz. Target DRAM frequency 2133. I think we're good. I think, let's see, CPU frequency, oh, it's behind the PC over there. Yeah, I won't be able to move that to show you, but CPU temperature, 22°C. So I guess if it stays like that over the next few minutes, then we did good with the thermal compound and stuff. So, my build works. I'm excited! Dude, I'm so excited! Now I can download Minecraft. That's all I can play without a graphics card at the moment. So thank you guys for watching my build. I appreciate it and being a part of this.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was Jordan's build of his very first gaming PC. I am Mazer, and we will see you next time.